I've been talking a bit recently about my ideas for the importance of environmental policies, renewable energy, sustainable development, things like that. I consider it's one of the most significant things for political parties to consider and look at the current time. My opinion is that no political party should be without a commitment to renewable energy and a sustainable economy that can be kept going for decades to come without causing irreparable damage to the country and the rest of the planet. There are a couple of political parties that are of the opinion that it is not a major concern, and to be honest, I think they're wrong, but that's a valid opinion of theirs that some people support. For myself, I would consider that this sort of sustainable development, this commitment to renewable energy, to getting rid of our dependence on fossil fuels, is not just something that is vitally important for saving the planet, but is potentially an important aspect of our future economy, something that could be integrated into the way that this country moves forward and builds a better future for itself. Rather than seeing it as something that will restrict our economy, something that will cut into what we can do as a country, that will force us to make concessions, to take steps back in certain places and so on, we can see it instead as an opportunity. We have, in this country over the last couple of decades, we have made massive steps forward in producing, for example, really high quality, efficient, powerful wind turbines, solar panels, things of that nature. We have begun some development and research into extracting energy from movement of the oceans, which is something that is still incredibly limited but could potentially be of huge benefit for the entire planet if the technology can be advanced to a sufficient state. And I would argue that by continuing to fund this sort of research and development and get even better quality turbines, even better quality solar panels, hydroelectric cells, hybrid and electric powered cars, those sorts of things that we can develop, we can create, and we could as a country profit off of selling those ideas around the world. New companies setting up over here that are designing better equipment or manufacturing it and selling it, producing it at a exceptionally high quality rather than at a low price, as is the case with many major manufacturing economies around the world at the moment. I think that could be a major source of new jobs and new money coming into this country over the course of the next few decades. Where of course our previous manufacturing has gone severely into decline due to our inability to compete with the exceptionally low wages and limited support for labourers and other workers that exist in other countries around the world. Rather than going back to that standard of low quality, low price, unfair treatment for the workers and so on, that would allow us to compete in terms of price, we could instead invest a lot of money into research and development, into education, into just building up every aspect of the country that we would need in order to produce products of a significantly higher quality. And if those products happen to be things relating to protecting and preserving the environment, sustainable development, better sources of energy, of food, of raw materials and so on, recycling, and just generally everything that we need to protect this entire planet, and we could produce that and sell it to the rest of the world, as well as severely cutting our own dependence on fossil fuels, our own complete coating of green areas around cities with new developments, those sorts of things that we are at the moment having to do in order to support the country. If we could cut into that and reduce it, that would be of huge benefit. And if we could, boost the economy as we do so, then everyone gains from that. Ideally, we are looking at a massive cut in fossil fuel use in electricity generation over the course of a few years, with huge investments and subsidies and so on in renewable energy, whilst still leaving our current nuclear situation in place until such time as the existing facilities are at the end of their lifespan, rather than eliminating them as well and cutting into those jobs. I feel that would be the best way forward. Nuclear power is nowhere near as harmful to the environment as fossil fuel use, but the amount of expense and the amount of time it takes to set up new facilities, we could produce more electricity and with less harmful side effects, investing in renewables instead during that same time frame and with that same level of investment. And I feel that would be a better way forward. But at the same time, of course, we don't want to eliminate large numbers of jobs in that industry. Meanwhile, of course, we have the housing situation. We will need to build more houses, and obviously some of those will end up going on what is currently empty space, and that would need to be considered very carefully, and we would need to make every effort to ensure that developments are put in areas that are currently already built up, reusing abandoned sites and so on, rather than tearing into new, fresh, green land. So whilst we retain a commitment to substantial house building and other factors to boost the economy and get more developments ongoing, each and every one of those would be very carefully considered to ensure that it has the minimum impact on the environment. And of course we would be looking towards more public transport and better efficiency for cars in order to cut into that section of our potential contribution to pollution around the world. I feel that all in all we could make a huge step forward over a relatively short amount of time in terms of our protection of the environment, boosting the economy and allowing other countries to follow our lead by providing them with the resources that they would need to also follow the same commitments.